Alright, welcome to today's class. We're going to be solving past questions on English, use of library, Nigerian people and culture. This is written by Academic Data, and some of you don't have the hard copy. So, this is the table of contents. Man, society and language, vocabulary development, listening skill, reading rights, reading skill and techniques, basic research methods and term paper writing, phonetics, and phonology of English, study techniques and note taking, language, social interaction and communication, language of social interaction and communication. So the essence of this is to help you. There are some of the students, they don't know, as they are studying or trying to read past questions, they spend time on it. So we want to guide you as we read it out and point out the answers. You can make more research on it, but you know the answer. So it should be a guide to help you read. So it's more like we are reading for you. You are just listening and watching what we're doing. So, man, society, and language. The first question is: language is often said to be an intrinsic inheritance of man because the answer is it is only man that uses language as a verbal medium of expression. You understand? We are human beings, so that's our belief. We don't know if all those things, chickens and the rest, do if it's a language. But that's the belief. So it is only man that uses language as a verbal medium of expression. Let's move to the next one. The study which focuses on the variations of language use. The variations of language use in the common society is social-linguistic. Which of the following is not true about man and use of language? Man is a monolingual creature. Now, some of the answers you see here, everything you see here is thoroughly correct. I did not study English. I did not study use of library. But before this material was written, it was written by graduates, MSc holders of English, English and Literary Studies. So a good number of them are the persons that supplied answers to these past questions. So you know that we are not joking. It's not something like if you are not this person graduate, you go and be doing it. No, whatever we do, if it's not our own course, engineering and the rest, science, we are not really good with art subjects. So you find art students to provide you with the answers. So they've provided us with the answers. So this material, we have a good number of copies. So you see that after everyone, this is where we have the answer for man, society, and language. But what I did is that I copied it out and marked all of them so that it's easy for us to do this past question. So let's go back to business. We said use of language. We say man is a monolingual creature. So which of the following is not true about man and use of language? Which means man is not a one language creature. So man can be a bilingual person. A child born without any vocal or auditory impairments can acquire the language of his environment. It's true. Every man has a mother tongue, which is true. Somebody born in France has French as his language. So man is a monolingual creature is a lie. You can learn as many languages as possible, depending on how your brain can carry you. So the next one is which of the following is not a definition of language? Which of the following is not a definition of language? A culture artifact. So that's not a definition of language, which means that definitions of language include a vehicle that helps man to convey his feelings, thoughts, or ideas. A verbal means of communication. A means of communication. So that's the definition of language. Language is a vehicle that conveys man's feelings, thoughts, and ideas as a means of communication and a verbal means of communication. So let's move to number 5. Sign language is to dash. What verbal language is to dash? So sign language is to the deaf or the dumb, deaf and dumb. What verbal language is to normal human beings? You know this is true. There is no answer we find here that is not correct. It was thoroughly given to us by graduates of English and Literary Studies. So which of the following is not one of the approaches for the definition of language? Number 6. Which of the following is not one of the approaches for the definition of language? A, the semiotic approach. So which means that every other thing here is an approach for the definition of language. Structure-based approach, culture-based approach, interactive approach. If you've noticed, most of the time when you want to learn language, they tell you go to a different country. That's the best way. That particular the country that speaks that particular language, that's the fastest way to learn it. So there you have it. Now let's move to the next one, number 7. Which of the following is not one of the theories which account for the origin of language? Which of the following is not one of the theories which account for the origin of language? If you like this material, you wish to get the hard copy, that's the number to call. So which of the following is not one of the theories which account for the origin of language? The answer is the symbolic theory, which means that the theories that account for origin of language include the Bow Wow theory, then the Hindu theory, the Hindu religious theory, the Christian religious theory. Then symbolic theory does not account for origin of language. Symbol, that one accounts for maths, numbers. Okay, let's move to the next question. According to biblical accounts, Dash, according to biblical accounts, was the first man to use language. Adam, you know him. Yes. So, a community that uses and understands a common language is called speech community. Community that uses and understands a common language is called speech community. Okay, let's move to the number 10. Which of the following is not one of the characteristics of language? So, language cannot die and its vocabulary is permanent. So, this is not a characteristics of language. Language cannot die. There's nothing about that characterizes language. We are not stating the obvious. So we are not stating it has nothing to do with a character of language or a behavior or something that is known about language. So language is dynamic, yes. Language is productive. Language is conventional or arbitrary. Okay. So that's A to C are the characteristics of language. This one is not more. So speech repertoire is a term used to refer to Dash, the whole language, dialects, and the variation which a community or an individual has. If you notice, if you like go to China and you learn how to speak China, when you talk, somebody that is from China, a native Chinese man, will know that you are not really from China. So, but even though some people get very good at it sometimes, but it's somehow obvious. So, number 12. A verbal repertoire could be called all of this except linguistic etiquette. So that means verbal repertoire could be called code of repertoire, linguistic repertoire, speech repertoire. Speech repertoire, but we can't call it linguistic etiquette. So let's move to number 13. Linguistic nationalism. Linguistic nationalism may be used to describe the function of language as an instrument for conferring social identity on the user. Number 14. The total number of languages in the world is estimated as 7,000. So that's the estimate of languages we have on Earth. Not like that's all, but that's the estimate. It's more. A person who can speak and use different language well may be called a person who can speak and use different language well may be called a Dash. The answer is polyglots. Polyglots. Number 16. Which of the following statements is false? Which of the following statements is false? Languages have family. Language is creative. Languages can be used for fraternal communion. Languages are mutually unintelligible, which is not true. D is that. Which of the following is false? So languages are mutually unintelligible is a lie. They are mutually intelligible. So the next one, number 17. Number 17. In Nigeria, the Dash and the Dash languages have the status for a second language. We know that in Nigeria, English and French, they are our first and second language. Maybe, assuming the Portuguese stayed longer, it could have been English and Portuguese. But in Nigeria today, it's always English or you are learning French, even though some schools teach all these things listed here, even German. Now, the next one, the domains of the English language in Nigeria does not include the use as the language of the domains of English language in Nigeria does not include the use as the language of culture and divination. That is culture and godliness. So, or trying to do tradition actually. So, the domains of English language in Nigeria include the use of or includes the use as the language of education, yes. Legislation and politics, yes. Mass media and religions, yes. So culture and divination. So if you notice, when you want to talk to the god of your land or your ancestors, if you're a traditional person, you hardly come to that place. You are speaking in god of Barnabas, Benedictus, Thomas, no, Aquinas, no. You call your own god. Igbo man will call Amadioha. Hausa man will call Allah and their native gods using their own tongue. So that's what they are trying to talk about. So the domains of English does not include the use as the language of culture and divination or culture and tradition. You can put it that way, or talking to your God. So the countries in West Africa where the English language is used as an official language or as second language are Nigeria and Ghana. Gabon speaks French. Sierra Leone and Niger Republic, these two, I think they speak, one of these speaks, this one speaks French. Cameroon, I know it speaks French. So Nigeria and Ghana speaks English. So that's it. So, and they are West African countries. Which of the following is an odd member of the series? English, Igbo, French. Why they said odd member of the series is because we are talking about Nigeria. We are in Nigeria. So if you notice, you will see that in Nigeria, people speak Igbo, people speak English, people speak French. Like myself, these first three languages, I can speak it fluently. So, but I know nothing about Latin. So that's why it's odd. Now, the next one, 21. An example of an isoglossic language is English. Isoglossic is English. So Yoruba, Hausa, Efik is related to tribes. Everybody has its inheritance on it, but English is more like just one language that, or you say it's a foreign language that came to us. So everybody can choose this as one language. We have it as our official language. So a dialect can best be defined as dash. But a dialect can best be defined as language variation due to user location and status. Very true. Language variation due to user location and status. So the reason why you hear me talking, if you are very into Nigeria, immediately you hear my voice, you know where I'm coming from. So this is because of the fact that I've based more in the place I'm based and status. Yes. So the next one, Nigeria can be best described as a multilingual society. Very true. We speak a lot of languages here. There are places you get to, you can't even talk, or because as you are listening, you can't hear anything. You are just lost. So we speak a lot of languages in this place. So multilingual society. Dash is best described as a vernacular or an ethnic language in Nigeria. Vernacular, yes. Okay, notice vernacular. When they say vernacular, we talk about something that is more like not a foreign language to us. So if you see, If in a school where they tell you everybody should speak English, speak Portuguese, speak Arabic, speak German, nobody should speak their home language. So if you speak Hausa or speak Igbo or speak anything that is not the foreign language, you will call it vernacular, or you say it's an ethnic language. So Hausa is the answer. The ability of an individual to use two languages for communication is bilingualism. Bilingualism. So those of you that are phonetically inclined, you know how to shape your mouth and pronounce it. Okay, let's go. Number 26. Which of the following pairs does not describe a type of language discussed in this course? Gutter language and digrossia or digrossia. So in this course, we are looking at mother tongue, home language, second language, yes, foreign language, national language, and official language. But when we talk about gutter language like vernacular and the rest, we're not looking at it here. So idiolects or idiolects is best described as English will not form my hand today. Idolects, or is it idiolects, is best described as the characteristics speech of a person. Okay. Dialects. A dialect, I don't know who puts the I there. A dialect is best described as the characteristic speech of a person. Yes, it's better that way. So a dialect is the characteristic speech of a person. So I feel this should be a dialect. So like I said, these are past questions and the answers were supplied by graduates of English and Literary Studies, MSc holders, not just graduates. So jargon simply means the use of a language variety normally used in a specific professional field. So jargon, for example, when a civil engineer now or a petroleum engineer, let's use petroleum, when they say SPE, you say oil and gas. You understand? So that's more like their own tongue. Now the term biselect is a term used to describe a low language variety. The standard or the prestigious variety of a language used especially in a society with digrossia is often described as a C, acrolect. The insertion of a word or a phrase or clause from one language to another in a communication event is known as code switching. So now I want you to do a brain work. Go through this, jot it down. This is your assignment. Jot it down. Check from 33 to 36 if what we have written down here So notice we've been reading it out to you. Now you do the reading, then try to memorize. God will help you. Yes. Yes. Pause this video. Try to jot this down. Then compare your answer by doing research. So everything we did here is all about man, society, and language. So man, society, and language. The next class will be on man, society, and language again. That's section A, exercise 2. Man, society, and language. So the machinery utilized for the expression of our thoughts and feelings is language. Hope you know that. The fact that there is no formal relationship between words and who they represent implies that language is arbitrary. Who can look exemplify that language is discrete? So we've entered exercise 2. The language which a person acquires from his first contact with his environment is called mother tongue. The mother tongue may also be referred to as first language. So we'll read it out to you until we get to the 30th part, then you do the rest. I know that if you take this serious, watching this over and over and over, it becomes part of you. You can even convert this to video, listen to it over and over, and with time it becomes part of you. You can even message us the number on WhatsApp, or the number there on WhatsApp, so you get a podcast you listen to if you don't know how to convert. All right. So the English language is studied in Nigeria as second language. The language which enjoys constitutional backing to be used in Nigeria for official purpose is national language. So once it relates to the country, the nation, is national language. Somebody wants to first start asking me, so what is now the national language? In Nigeria, we know that if they really want to put things to order, Pidgin is our national language, but I don't want us to go there. So we regard our first language to be the national language. But whenever you talk about national backing, all the languages we speak in Nigeria are discrete to us. We all have our own, so they are national languages. But once it has to do with national backing, we give it a term called national language. That is used in a multilingual society like Nigeria to facilitate communication. Lingua franca. Lingua franca. I know you want us to say Pidgin English. Within us, we know that it's this thing. Lingua franca. This talks about communication in terms of so lingua franca, it talks about a language that is adopted as a common language between speakers whose native languages are different. So that's language that is adopted as a common language between speakers whose native languages are different is called lingua franca. All right, let's move to the next one. Which of the following is not true? Nigeria is a monolingual society. It's not true. Nigeria is a multilingual society. That's true. Language is the sole property of a man. Yes. Language is the official language. English language is the official language in Nigeria. Yes. So Nigeria is a monolingual society. Is the one that is not true. Let's move to the next one. Two among the hindrances to effective use of English in Nigeria are dash and dash. Lack of qualified teachers and unconducive environments. The varieties of English according to region are known as dialects. The two main varieties of English language according to region are British and American. Yes. So sometimes you see organize, the one that will carry Z, and sometimes you see organization. This one is American. This one is British. So the two main varieties of English language according to region are American and British. So in Nigeria, we speak the British English. The study of dialect is described as dialectology. Number 14. Two of the linguistic features which differentiate one dialect of the English from others is dash and dash, pronunciation and spelling. Two of the linguistic features which differentiate one dialect of the English from others is dash and dash, pronunciation and spelling. Alright, let's move. Number 15. The result of a blend of indigenous languages with foreign languages in African society is called Pidgin. Yes, this is now our own. For Nigeria, we sabi this one well. You know fit talk, may you know hear person wey go follow you talk for pidgin. So that's what they are saying. They said the result of a blend of indigenous languages with foreign languages in African societies is called pidgin. They need to put this pidgin in on the map. This pidgin has saved a lot of lives, especially in my country. So let's move to the next one, number 16. When a Nigerian learner of the English language does not exhibit deep need to master the language, this kind of problem is called learner induced. Learner induced. Yes. All right. The Igbo speakers and users of English language have the problem of pronouncing the consonant R. Yes. Like for example, somebody from Anambra now, if you want to call umbrella, you say umbrella. Yes. Plantain. Plantain. So instead of plantain, call it plantain. Bread. Bread. So it's always a problem for us whenever it has to do with this re sound. Okay, let's move to the next one. One of the negative impacts of English language in Nigeria is erosion and cultural values. Yes. Negative impact of English language in Nigeria. You see some parents, they give birth to a child, they are not speaking their native language. They start speaking English so that the boy be doing or child be doing foreign. For who? When the child now grow up, he will be getting FF in his native language. So erosion and cultural values so negative impacts of English in Nigeria is erosion and cultural values. It's not just about this one that I've given as an illustration, it goes beyond that. So let's move to the next one. Linguistics is concerned with the answer is scientific study of language. Scientific study of language. And we know what scientific means. Let's attack the language. Let's say scientific. So when we say scientific, we say based on characteristics, based on or characterized by the methods or principles of science. So using the principles of science. And what is the principle of science? Having to make it pass through some processes, some observation, hypothesis, understanding, theory, and getting it approved and following scrutiny. Then we say that is what we call linguistics. So when you have to put language through a study, vigorous study, so we call it language. So the question is, so you don't forget the question because of my explanation. Linguistics is concerned with the scientific study of language. That's the answer. The term which is used to refer to the topic being discussed is called field. Your field of study. What are you talking about? What field? What profession? Yes. So the term which is used to refer to the topic being discussed is called field. Field is not field that you play ball. Your field, your area. All right. So, but it's field you use. Don't go and say area. The English verb is often stressed on the dash syllable in American English. The English verb is often stressed on the first syllable in American. Is often stressed on the first syllable in the American English. Okay. God knows that I don't know what they are talking about in this one. So like I told you, we have master's degree students that provided us with the answers to this. So my own is to make you listen, pay attention, and get the points. It's like we've noticed that when students are reading, they find it difficult to take time and read through English, GSTs, and use of library. So we've made it in such a way that we can do this, read it to you, you pay attention, do it over and over, you assimilate. That's why sometimes you watch videos and you are able to remember everything you watched in that video compared to when you are reading. So that's why we are trying to make it come to you through this medium. So the English language in Nigeria can be best described as lingua franca. And remember I told you what lingua franca is. A particular language that unites that unite or can be used to communicate to different nation, different tribes in a particular country. So people that understand different languages or that have different languages, that language that you can use to unite them, that is common to all of them, which we call our first language in, or you say our second language, sorry, in Nigeria. So the English language in Nigeria can be best described as lingua franca. All right, the next one. During speech is capable of formation, distortion, mother tongue interference. Yes. Some people, even as I'm speaking now, won't be able to hear what I'm saying well because my native intonation, my accent, what do you call it? Accent, will be tampering with the understanding. That's why some people tell you you are forming British accent. But you can see I don't have that, and I'm not trying to get that. I like when I come out, I sound, you know, yes, this is an African man. So I'm keeping mine. So, but you need to know it. Mother tongue interference during speech is capable of information distortion. So, next one, 24. Apart from Nigeria, two other African countries where English is an official language is dash and dash. Ghana and Sierra Leone. Okay, I take that back. So that means that when we did these parts, I'm coming. There's a question we met when we did this part where we said Sierra Leone and Nigeria Republic. So it's Nigeria Republic that is not speaking English. So let's go back. I owe you understanding and understanding proper. So Ghana and Sierra Leone. Now the two major varieties of English language are dash and dash, British and American. No, American and British. So BRE stands for British English. The American English is represented by the symbol AME. They said AMEE. Okay, let's move to the next one. The full meaning of ESP is English for specific purpose. I bought yours, so let's be fast. Which of the following statements is not true? So the one that is not true is A child learns a language. The answers, so this is not true. He doesn't learn the language, he acquires it. Notice that most of the languages you are learning now that you are grown up, the stress you are going through is not compared to when you were a child. You just acquire the language because you picked it up. So that is to show you how easy it is to learn language when you are dedicated and you are at a particular place where the language is the official language, so, or their home language. So the correct answers are a child acquires a lingua. A child does not make any conscious effort in language acquisition. Language learning involves conscious efforts. Yes, but a child does not do that. So the one that is there is a child learns a language. Now the next one. The use of two languages in a speech community is described as bilingualism. All right, we've gotten to this part. We want you at this point, we want you to task yourself. And see if you can go through this one on your own now. Read it without us reading it out for you. So we've come to the end of the class. Technolect is the language of technology. So there you have it. So if you need this material as you're seeing it, you can message us for it. So we've come to the end of man, society, and language. In our next class, we'll be treating vocabulary development. Thank you. Go and subscribe to Academic Dad, this channel on YouTube.